The Andromeda Galaxy. If the universe were a royal court, Andromeda would be the ruthless monarch who built her throne from the bones of her rivals. This isn't some polite neighbor waving across the stars. This is a cannibal galaxy, a spiraled predator that spent billions of years fattening itself up by swallowing smaller galaxies whole, like some hungry teenager. You can see it with the naked eye on a dark moonless night. It looks just like a faint smudge in the sky. Peaceful, distant, serene. But don't be fooled. That glow isn't peace. That's the light of 1,000,000,000,000 stars, some of which were stolen. Deep inside Andromeda's swirling arms are structures, like the Dulce structure and globular cluster G1 that don't belong. Star clusters from distant doomed galaxies, dragged in, ripped apart, and absorbed like trophy bones into a growing skull. Scientists call it galactic cannibalism, but that's just a polite way of saying gravitational murder. When a smaller galaxy drifts too close, Andromeda's immense gravity reaches out like a crooked finger, tears it apart, and siphons the stars into her rotating storm of light. No mercy, no survivors, just another course in a multi-billion-year meal. And she's not done. In about 4.5 billion years, Andromeda's coming straight for us. The Milky Way and Andromeda are on a collision course. Two giants hurtling through space like drunken sumo wrestlers in slow motion. When they collide, there won't be an explosive death match. It'll be more like a slow, graceful obliteration. Spiral arms entwining, black holes circling each other like predators, and star systems being flung into the dark like sparks off a dying fire. Will the Earth survive? Technically, yes. Statistically, the odds of the Sun or any star actually smashing into another are incredibly low. Space is big. Stars are small. It'd be like firing 2 bullets across the Sahara and hoping they'd hit mid-air. But our solar system might get yanked out of the galaxy altogether, like a hitchhiker flung off a speeding train. Where will we end up? Nobody knows. Maybe in the galactic outskirts. Maybe out in the void. Alone. Andromeda doesn't care. She'll keep spinning, growing, consuming. She's already twice the size of the Milky Way and still building mass like a cosmic bodybuilder hooked on dark matter protein. But here's the thing. Without Andromeda, we wouldn't understand how galaxies grow. She's the messy, brutal, violent proof that galaxies aren't born big. They eat their way to greatness. Watching her is like looking into our own future, only to realize it's got teeth. So next time you look up and spot that faint blur near Cassiopeia, remember, you're not looking at a distant marvel. You're looking at a living cannibal, a spiraled archive of star systems that dared to drift too close. Messier 87. If galaxies were cities, Messier 87 would be the high-rise in the bad part of town, the one with the glowing rooftop, constant noise, and a mysterious power source in the basement that nobody asks questions about. You don't orbit near M87, you survive near M87. Located 55 million light-years away in the Virgo constellation, this supergiant elliptical galaxy doesn't bother with pretty spiral arms or delicate swirls. It's a glowing boulder in space, a sphere of stars packed tighter than a mob safehouse, home to trillions of stars and around 15,000 globular clusters. And right in the middle of it all sits M87's crown jewel, a supermassive black hole so ridiculously powerful that in 2019 it became the first black hole in human history to have its picture taken. But this black hole isn't just famous for being photogenic, it screams across the universe, literally. M87's black hole ejects a jet of matter so ferocious that it spears through intergalactic space like a laser fired by a drunk god. Now let's talk scale. Our Milky Way has about 150 globular clusters. M87, 15,000. Some of those clusters likely didn't start there. M87's gravity has been accused of mugging nearby dwarf galaxies, snatching their star clusters like trophies. That makes M87 not just a monster, it's a thief in a crown, ruling the Virgo cluster from the top of a pile of stolen treasure. Speaking of Virgo cluster, M87 doesn't just live there, it dominates. Like a cosmic CEO in a room full of interns, M87 anchors the gravitational politics of the whole system. Other galaxies bend the knee, or they get pulled apart. So yes, M87 is more than just the galaxy that gave us our first blurry snapshot of a black hole. It's a cosmic fortress, armed with light-speed weapons, surrounded by star-studded militia, and run by a singularity that eats light for breakfast. And if the Milky Way ever wanders into its turf, let's just say we'd be the newest addition to its growing collection. Dragonfly 44. If galaxies were people at a party, Dragonfly 44 wouldn't be the loud one or the rich one, or even the weird one. Dragonfly 44 is the guy standing motionless in the corner, barely visible, completely silent, and yet somehow taking up half the room. Welcome to Dragonfly 44, the galaxy that looks like it doesn't exist, but outweighs everything around it. Located in the Coma Cluster about 330 million light-years from Earth, Dragonfly 44 is what astronomers call an ultra-diffuse galaxy, which basically means it's huge but barely glows. It's the size of the Milky Way, but it gives off about as much light as a dying flashlight on low battery. There's something there, but it won't show you its face. Why? Because this galaxy is made of almost nothing you can see. According to early observations, a staggering 99.99% of its mass appears to be dark matter. Dark matter, for those playing catch-up, is the universe's greatest magician. It doesn't reflect light, doesn't emit heat, and can't be seen directly. But it bends gravity, warps space, and shuffles galaxies around like poker chips. We know it's there because of what it does, not because of what it shows. Imagine walking into a town the size of New York City, only to find it lit by 10 streetlights, inhabited by 300 people, and yet somehow dragging half of the Earth's mass behind it. That's Dragonfly 44. A skeleton the size of a whale, built entirely out of shadow. Its stars are scattered like a failed fireworks show. Its light is barely there, and yet this thing holds together like it's made of steel cables. If galaxies are held up by scaffolding, Dragonfly 44's frame is pure dark matter. A kind of invisible skeleton that stretches from one end of the cluster to the other. Some researchers later dialed back that 99.99% figure. Newer measurements suggest it might be 98% dark matter instead of 99.99. Not like the 1% makes a huge difference. Dragonfly 44 is still absurd, still terrifying, and still more ghost than galaxy. Why does this matter, though? Because Dragonfly 44 is a riddle. It shouldn't exist the way it does, and yet there it is, a near-invisible titan coasting through the universe, laughing at your need for invisible light. Sure, seeing is believing, but Dragonfly 44 doesn't care if you see it or believe it. And if you're still here squinting at the screen like that'll help spot it, go ahead and hit that like button. It won't make the galaxy any brighter, but it'll definitely make the algorithm notice you. The Cartwheel Galaxy. The Cartwheel Galaxy is more like a crime scene. A slow-motion wreck frozen in space. Located 500 million light-years away, the Cartwheel Galaxy looks like what happens when you T-bone a spiral galaxy and then leave the universe to file the insurance claim. It used to be a normal spiral, neat arms, gas-rich lanes, peacefully minding its business, until a smaller galaxy came screaming through the middle like a deer through a windshield. The result was catastrophic. That head-on collision sent a shockwave rippling outward, crunching through dust and gas, shoving everything out like a donut-shaped airbag. The ring you see today, that bright, gorgeous outer loop, it's not a natural feature. It's a blunt force trauma scar, made of hot, dense gas and thousands of panicked stars trying to figure out what the hell just happened. And those spokes connecting the ring to the center? Think of them like cracked struts on a bent rim. Wispy trails of debris and gas left behind as the inner galaxy recoils. They're not pretty. They're what's left when you rip something apart too fast and too violently. Inside the inner ring, the core still spins dazed. The impact didn't just break the symmetry, it jump-started a chain reaction of star formation. Like flares going off after a pileup, new stars keep igniting and some don't live long enough to finish forming before they go supernova. It's stellar whiplash, and the galaxy's still feeling the aftershocks. And while most galaxies carry their scars quietly, the cartwheel is still moving. That outer ring is still expanding, slamming into more gas, triggering more chaos. Meanwhile, spiral arms, barely visible, are slowly slinking back into form like the wreckage of a collapsed spiral frame trying to remember how to stand. Astronomers now know this chaos stretches 2.5 times wider than the Milky Way. This isn't a fender bender, it's an 18-wheeler going full throttle through a crowded roundabout, and we're looking at the aftermath 300 million years later. What makes this mess even weirder is that it's rare. Only about 1 in 10,000 galaxies ever get hit like this. Most interactions are glancing blows. This one was full contact. No airbags, no brakes. So yeah, the Cartwheel Galaxy is weird. Beautiful? Maybe. But only if you think a crumpled hood and blown-out windows glinting in the sun is beautiful. Malin 1. If most galaxies are city skylines, bright, buzzing, impossible to miss, then Malin 1 is a ghost town in the fog, stretching wider than any of them, but glowing so faintly you might mistake it for the static between the stars. It's there, it's massive, and it's almost impossible to see. Malin 1 is what astronomers call a low-surface brightness galaxy, or LSB, which is a polite way of saying is basically space camouflage. Imagine trying to spot a candle in front of a searchlight. That's what detecting Malin 1 is like. You're staring directly at it, and it just fades into the cosmic wallpaper. Discovered in the 1980s, only after we finally got telescopes sensitive enough to spot the whisper of its glow, Malin 1 turned out to be a monster in disguise. This thing isn't just large, it's the largest known spiral galaxy. Over 600,000 light-years across. That's more than 6 Milky Ways laid end to end. If you flew through it at the speed of light, you'd need 6 centuries to cross its full spread, and that's if you didn't blink and miss the thing. Why is it so faint, though? Because Malin 1 is made of stars and gas that are spread so thin it barely outshines the night sky itself. It's like the universe tried to make a galaxy and set the brightness to barely functioning. Its spiral arms are wisps. Its core glows like a dying ember. You could mistake it for background noise until you realize the background is bigger than your galaxy ever dreamed of being. And that's what makes it terrifying. Malin 1 is the stealth bomber of the cosmos, enormous, silent, and virtually invisible. It doesn't shine, it doesn't scream, it doesn't explode. It lurks, and because of that, galaxies like Malin 1 slipped under our radar for almost the entire history of astronomy. For all we know, hundreds of thousands of these leviathans could be out there, too faint to detect, but too massive to ignore. Even now, we're not entirely sure what's going on inside it. Star formation is kinda sluggish, activity is kinda minimal. It's like the galaxy is in low power mode, conserving energy, waiting. Some theorize these LSB galaxies formed in regions of space where matter was scarce and things never got going. Others suggest they are dark matter playgrounds, where gravity's pulling the strings but light forgot to show up. Malin 1's existence forces us to reevaluate how we understand the universe. We tend to think the loudest things are the most important, the bright quasars, the erupting supernovae. But Malin 1 sits there, massive and mute, reminding us that size doesn't always come with spectacle. Sometimes the biggest monsters are the ones you never notice. The Large Magellanic Cloud. The Large Magellanic Cloud, or LMC, isn't your regular galaxy. It's a sideshow, orbiting the Milky Way like a drunk cousin who won't sit still, keeps knocking over furniture, and might secretly be hiding something dangerous under their coat. From Earth, the LMC looks like a smudge, an innocent cloud of stars in the southern sky. But don't let the name fool you. This thing isn't soft. It's not quiet. It's a chaotic mess of broken spiral arms, tilted cores, and off-kilter gravity all wrapped in a deceptively harmless glow. First off, the LMC is technically a dwarf irregular galaxy, which is science fiction speak for, we're not sure what this thing's supposed to be. It used to have spiral arms, but now they're wrapped and bent like they got hit by a truck. Its central bar, the bright band of stars you'd expect to see in a healthy spiral, isn't even in the middle. It's off to the side like a galaxy that forgot how to stand up straight. Why? Because the LMC is caught in a cosmic tug-of-war. It's being yanked on by both the Milky Way and its smaller partner in chaos, the Small Magellanic Cloud. Picture two toddlers trying to share a balloon filled with gas and stars. The result is a galaxy being stretched, twisted, and slowly pulled apart, one gravitational tantrum at a time. And this isn't just some distant, detached drama. The LMC is orbiting us. It's close, like dangerously close in cosmic terms, just 160,000 light-years away. That's basically next door, and it's not peacefully circling either. It's barreling toward us and is expected to collide with the Milky Way in about 2.4 billion years. So if Andromeda is the big one coming from across town, the LMC is the scrappy brawler already in your backyard, ready to throw hands. But the weirdest part? There might be a supermassive black hole inside it. That's not normal for a galaxy this size. Dwarf galaxies usually don't come with supermassive anything, but the LMC doesn't play by the rules. It's got a chaotic orbit, a mangled structure, and now, possibly, a giant singularity sitting in the center like a nuclear engine running on spite. So yeah, the LMC is small compared to most galaxies, but it's unstable, unpredictable, and dangerously close. And it isn't just orbiting us. It's crashing in slow motion. bringing a black hole to the party.